Welcome back, guys. This is another episode of The Usual Skeptics. My name's Wes. With me is Gabe. And today we are going to talk about the spoiler review for the Miss Marvel episode 2 that came out on Disney Plus today. So if you have not seen it, if I can't make this more abundantly clear, please, go watch it, then come back and watch us, of course. But today we're going to be doing a spoiler review for Miss Marvel. So that being said, Gabe has got a little bit of a voice thing going on. So I'm going to throw it to him. How you feeling besides that, buddy?
I'm doing all right, man. We're ready to rock and roll. Like Wes said, we're going to be delving into this thing, open spoilers. If you just hear me just kind of giving up on my voice, just bear with me. The show must go on, Wes. The show must go on.
The show must go on.
So
I don't know too much about Miss Marvel, if it should go on anymore, but I'll go ahead and get my review started for it, my spoiler review.
Okay.
As we know, last time for episode 1, I really just I wasn't into it, which is okay. There's a lot of good elements to it. There's a lot of good things that I think are coming from it. From the Muslim aspect in this one, I thought it was really cool that they did that and interjected that into it. I felt like the first episode was more of a reboot of Lizzie McGuire. Like I said, this one, to be honest, I wasn't into it. But there are a lot of good things that I think are going on in it. I love the music choices that they're making. I really love sort of the videography of it, but it just hasn't captured my attention yet. That being said, this week it's not Lizzie McGuire-esque. It's more of the famous Jet Jackson. So that's it's not all negative. I don't think that. I mean, we do this for a reason. We have different point of views of things. So for me though, I enjoyed it more than I did last week's, but it still hasn't got my attention yet because it's too much. For me, it's too much of a teen show, which I know that's what they're going for.
Right.
I understand that that's what they're going for.
Right.
I didn't know what they were going for, the first episode. I had no idea what they were going for. Now that I know.
Well, sorry, just interject for a second. I mean, you brought up a good point. And I think this is important to note. You mentioned, hey, this is what they're going for. And you could say the same thing about food, right? You can have Chef Ramsay prepare your favorite dish. Okay. You take a bite out of it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. And you turn to Ramsay, he might cuss you out and call you an idiot sandwich, where he holds the bread.
Right,
he might call you an idiot sandwich and say, well, this is how it's supposed to taste. And you're like, okay, but I don't like it. So you brought up a good point. Like, look, this is what they're going for, but it didn't work for me. So I think a lot of times people use that as a crutch, use that as an excuse. I do it. Wes, I'm sure you've done it. You watching this, I'm sure you've done it, where you're like, it's what they're going for. Because if you hear something you don't want to hear, you want to, what's it called? It's not projecting, but it's deflecting. When you deflect and you go, well, that's how the filmmaker was supposed to do it. It's like, it don't matter. If it didn't work for me, it didn't work for me. Right. So anyway, sorry to interject on that, but I thought you brought up a really good point on how Miss Marvel is obviously specifically targeted to a different, not demographic, because it's still MCU. They're still trying to get the mass MCU fan base in, but it's far different tone than that of Winter Soldier, even the first Avengers film, or Ant-Man, or Moon Knight. Even it's totally different tone than Moon Knight. But again, go ahead and continue your thoughts on that.
Oh yeah, no, like that. Thank you for reiterating that. Like I said, I know what they're going for now. And, like I said, I was more interested this week than I was last week because I know what they were going for. So I'm like, okay, cool. So there's not going to be, any serious, people hurt too bad. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to be like The Boys. So,
oh God, yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? It's not going to be like that. Now, her, like I said, it kind of became a more of the famous Jet Jackson this week. I can compare it to that because, you know, if you ever watch that, you know what I'm talking about. But her learning her new powers and learning what she can do and doing stuff like that, you know, it was cool, but it was just like, man, this is for a young audience, and I get it. So,
Right.
but that being said, a lot of good things in this episode. I really dug the music choices like throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
digging the music, man. And like I said, whenever they go to the mosque and you know there's a couple of comedic moments, you know, where they're talking in the
That's
back and
great.
you know they're whispering and
Mhm.
you know basically she gets called out for it,
But
and
it's
you know
Insta.
he's like, it brings up a good point not to you know
Yeah.
not to, or like, you know, for our voices to be heard but
Right.
not in my lecture, you know. You know, it's that stuff that, like, you know, I remember being in church and you know talking and you know preacher, you know, because I go into a small church, man. I'm talking, you know, maybe 50 people show up tops.
Yeah.
So, you know, everybody knows everybody. And, you know, the preacher's like, hey, boys, let's play with our Legos a little bit quieter back there. You know what I mean? So but there was a lot of good comedic moments. I really like her friend. I can't remember her
I
name.
can't either, but she was
Um
great. She was
yeah,
so
no,
great.
she was really
Yeah.
good in this
Yeah.
episode. And you know, uh what? Okay, so I know I said we're gonna have any more negatives. I got one more. The senior that does the flip in the pool. Um, wow, man. Just wow. He looked like a skeleton to me. Um, but you know, I don't know. I think that in the end he'll probably be a you know, the bad guy in there. I mean, they're just setting it up for it. It's just like they're just reeling it in. So, but like I said, I did enjoy the episode more than I did last week, but it's still just not for me. But Gabe, I would love to hear what you have to think. What
Oh,
you have to say. So
all right. So I did a quick research. I know I shouldn't have done that when we were doing this here, but I think her name was Nakia. I think
yeah,
it's Nakia.
yeah.
She was great. Okay, so my quick thoughts on this. Overall, I I am okay. So the premiere episode, I told you, and we said here on this channel, like I liked it, but I didn't love it. Like, because we even covered this, the reactions were through the roof. I mean, there were people saying words like, what can you, I mean, you're comparing it to Hawkeye, so it can't be much, but it's them saying
I'm gonna
best,
knock you out.
best Marvel Cinematic Universe Disney Plus show so far. And I'm like, I mean, not a huge bar, but I was like, okay, all right. You
That's a
know,
pretty big bar, homie.
oh God, that's a different topic. So there was a lot going into this thing that I was like, okay, you know, not familiar. And Wes, I think you're in the same boat that we don't know much about the character in the comics. Obviously she's, you know, got some kind of Captain Marvel-esque powers, I guess. I have absolutely no idea. Kind of the same way how I felt about Moon Knight. Like, I don't know much about the character, just know the basis of it. Knew her name was Kamala Khan, knew her hand could get really big and as a fist, and thought that kind of looked cool in the comic. Trailers I thought were good. It had that John Hughes vibe. And I did say this in our premiere spoiler discussion was what I liked about it is that the premiere delivered on the promise of what the trailer it delivered on what the trailer promised us as like, look, here's what you're gonna get. And whether you liked it or not, you really can't deny that the premiere was exactly what the trailer had marketed and depicted. And we rarely get that with projects. However, you know, going into this thing, like I said, a lot of critics were like raving about this thing, like, oh my God, this thing's the greatest thing out right now. It had like a 96% Rotten Tomatoes. So obviously a lot of people were loving it. The majority of people were loving it. Almost 9 out of every 10 people were loving it. And I watched the first episode and I was like, I liked it. I didn't love it. One of my main critiques though in the show or in the premiere was a lack of story. Like, okay, I get it, but I want to know the story. What story I mean, in Feige we trust. I say that all the time. In Feige we trust. But you know, Feige, if you're going to throw us a curveball and a character we don't know, give us a good story. The Moon Knight premiere, once he blacked out and all the people were dead around him, I was like, I'm in. Like, I'm fully invested.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't have one of those moments in the Miss Marvel premiere. Like, it was interesting. I mean, like, her chemistry with her brother, her mom, her dad, her friend Bruno was great. Amon Villani was fantastic. And
Hey, we don't talk about Bruno, okay?
we don't talk about Bruno, is what my daughter says all the time. And and you realize, you're like watching her performance, you're like, man, this kid, she sounds like the way she's performing, she sounds like a MCU veteran. Like, almost, I'm not saying she's as good as an actress or an actor as Chris Evans or Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man or Captain America, but what I'm meaning is that, like, the way she was acting, like, hey, I've been doing this for 10 years like these other cats. And it's like, I think the actress was like 3 when Iron Man 1 came out. So
I'm sure
that ages us for sure. So very young actress, but she does great. But this episode, all that to say this episode, I'm in. I'm not at the point where I love it, but I like it a lot more than last episode. This episode, it delivered on those negatives that I had last episode. It gave me story. It gave me more character development with Amon Villani as Kamala Khan. It gave us a little bit more on her best friend. Bruno kind of took a backseat. Did you get Marty McFly vibes off of his red vest when he's going to talk to, I was like, fun little Easter egg there. I thought that was cool. And Feige, him being a huge nerd, I'm sure he loves Back to the Future, so that's not surprising. But I think Bruno's great. Her mom and dad also took a back seat in this episode. Her mom is great. And I'm going to say this, and I may be totally wrong, but I'm going to say this before I forget. And we didn't talk about this, but I think there's more to her mom than they're making it seem out to be. I think there's something with her mom, whether she has superpowers, whether she knows, I just feel like she's a more prominent character and is going to play a more pivotal role in this show than what we think, more than being her mom and you know, and all that kind of stuff. But again, maybe wrong, but that's just me. Really loving what the story we're getting, where we're getting a little Department of Damage Control, who we've seen one of those officers in Spider-Man No Way Home. So what are they doing with, you know, trying to track down Kamala? Like, what's their end game with that? Because they're obviously not signed with the FBI, because if you heard him, he was like, hey, the FBI's on our tail. They're in hot. We got to, you know, tread careful. So they're obviously not working hand in hand with the FBI. So it's like, okay, what are they really doing? So I'm kind of interested there. Who's that vision? Who's that character that we're seeing, you know, in her powers when it kind of takes over and starts manifesting, and then we seen her at the end of the episode, and that guy's like, hey, I want you to meet my mom. And it's like, wait, what? So I thought that was a really cool little cliffhanger there, because like I was literally like, oh no, where's episode 3? Because I liked it so much and my kids are loving it. I really like it. Again, I'm not at the point where I think it's great, but I'm liking it a lot. It still has that John Hughes flavor. But I'm liking it so far. I'm digging it pretty good. I think Kamala's a good character addition to the MCU as a whole. So
you're way more into it than I am.
Look, you can't deny how great and how fun it was to see. I'm going through puberties here. I'm going through puberty here, ladies and gentlemen. There's that scene where that boy like puts his number in her phone, right? And she goes to her house and she's just like all caught up in herself. And I'm like, you can't deny that you've been there. I've been there, where you're like, oh my gosh, I have such a crush on this person or something like that. And then they, you know, you get their number or something and you're just filled with emotion and kind of lost within yourself. Like nothing else matters.
I'm a man.
Oh my God.
Shit. Come on, bro. Good God. No.
I lied. I
No.
had no girlfriends. No, but I thought, but no, I really did. I thought that was a really cute scene. I thought it was fun. I thought it was really cool, kind of delving into her powers, kind of learning a little bit. Because one thing that I don't like about superhero tropes in superhero movies is when a superhero gets their powers and they automatically know how to use every single ability. It's like, I'm a pro at this. I don't like that. Like, it takes me back to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 1, Sam Raimi directed, where he's trying to learn his powers and he starts to learn, oh, I can swing. I'm gonna swing to the other building. He smacks the billboard. He messes up. Tony getting in the Mark II suit and like Jarvis get the fire extinguisher ready. And in that all chrome suit looks awesome. And then he goes out, he comes back, he crashes, he fails. Like that, I love. There's something real about that. There's something real human about that and grounding, and it's that verisimilitude of, bringing it down to earth and making it relatable. And I thought that was great. And Bruno, did you catch this? Bruno said, look, your power is actually coming from within you, not that device you're wearing. I can't remember the device on her wrist, but we both kind of thought that would be the case. Like, look, she has power within her already because it has to do with her great grandmother. And then we got word on the partition of India, which I thought was very interesting and got very borderline like dark for a second. I mean, because they start mentioning it, and that was a thing that actually happened, and it's in our world history, like what, 70 something years ago, and was very reminiscent, not saying exactly, but it's very reminiscent to the Trail of Tears that happened here in America. So I thought that was interesting that they delved into, and I don't think that's the last we're going to hear about that. But what did you think about those, about the thoughts of them kind of bringing forth some new elements and kind of bringing some more story points to Miss Marvel? Because you already kind of said yourself that you liked it a lot better this episode than last episode. So really, what was it that made you go, okay, this episode was better than the premiere? Was it that they added more story beats?
The music.
The music. There's no more blinding lights. I'm so done with blinding lights. Man. That's such an overdone song.
The Weeknd is amazing. Anyway,
their name's spelled wrong.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I guess it was the story point. But like I said, I'm not as into it as you are. Now, I am still gonna watch it. I want to, give it a chance, see if it turns by the end of the season. That's what I want it to do.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, like them bringing that stuff up, bringing the I can't remember what they called it, but what you just said, the thing that happened 70 years ago.
Oh,
I do think that's going to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the last we've heard of that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think that's going to come back up. But I think it was the story. But
because they did, they brought more. They were like, okay, the first episode is introducing Kamala, introducing the main core characters. And this episode was more, let's focus more on Kamala Khan, but now let's get into the story. And that's kind of my biggest gripe of episode 1 was like, yeah, characters are cool and all, but I want to know what the story is. Like, I want to know what went through Kevin Feige's mind to be like, let's do Miss Marvel. And I trust the directors. I trust the writers look, they're 2 and 2 for me right now. I like this episode a lot. I think it was great. You're 0 and 2. You're 0 and 2. That's too bad. That's too bad. Look,
yeah, but like that's why we do this though. We're not gonna agree about the stuff. Like that's what makes this channel. That's what makes us friends. Is like we can sit here and I can tell you, how great Hawkeye how is. It is, how I don't like something, why I don't like something, and we can talk it out. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Not to change our opinions, but to give elaboration on the things like maybe you and I did or did not like. Not that we would persuade each other's opinion, but to give more insight on what it is, and we can talk about it. So no, you're completely right.
Right. Like, I'm not here to persuade you not to like this. Like,
right.
I'm happy. I'm happy that you do like it.
Right.
It's just for me, I don't, and you're not going to be like, well, we can't do this because you don't like
because they
Miss
don't like
Marvel.
it.
Like,
Yeah, yeah,
like whatever. I don't like. It is what it is. So,
yeah.
I'm gonna continue to watch it and hope that that they turn it around on me. But like I
I'm
said,
just glad you like this more than last week's episode. I'm
oh yeah,
actually quite surprised, and I kind of, and we talked about that before, because last week I said, look, we could come in doing this today, a week ago. We could be doing this a week ago, or a week from now, and saying, look, Wes could completely love it, and I'm going to completely hate the second episode. So we could be totally polar opposite. But look, I liked it more than the premiere, and you liked it a little bit more than the premiere. So I feel like we're on the good
still
start.
0-2 though for
You're
me.
still 0
So
2.
we're just gonna go there.
It is what it is. But yeah, so before we close this thing out, one more thing I want to talk about. And I mentioned this on my TikTok, which you can find here on @Voice of Film. Just search on TikTok and Twitter there, where I post daily fandom related content, entertainment news, as we do here. But I mentioned in my TikTok quick spoiler review of Miss Marvel episode 2 was, I don't know if you noticed this, but, and I may be wrong, but I didn't see this. I'd seen someone else that posted this. There was, do you remember when they're at that mosque thing? I don't know what that was called, but was it a mosque where they
Yeah,
changed? And okay. Well, they're
like a
there.
mausoleum,
Mausoleum.
pretty
Okay.
much.
Well, they're in there and they're praying, they're doing their thing. And then
Mhm,
when they get back, her friend, is it Nakia? Nakia's
mhm.
like, oh, someone stole my shoes. The
Yeah,
boy that Kamala saves at the end of the episode was wearing those same shoes. So
yeah.
he was the thief. I didn't catch that. I didn't even catch that.
Oh my god, dude!
And I was like,
And I didn't
oh,
even like this episode, and I caught that,
and
homie.
you got that. I mean, yeah,
No, but yeah, he was the thief
he was the thief.
that stole
Okay.
his shoes.
I was like, oh, I didn't even, I was wondering why it focused on his shoes. I was like, those are some pretty flashy shoes. Maybe it was the lighting of the shoes because the camera was behind the shoe case,
Yeah,
how they shot that. So I think the lighting kind of threw me off guard a little bit, but I noticed that they highlighted the shoes, but I thought, yeah, yeah, but I thought they were more showcasing the portal thing that she kind of opened up more than the shoes themselves. But obviously that was shoes. But I was like, oh, so when I read that, I was like, okay, cool. So I watched the scene again. I was like, oh, that's interesting. But look, like Wes said, I mean, he apparently liked it better than the premiere, and that's great. And that's all we want, is we want to like these even more. These Prime shows, whether it's Star Wars, DC, Marvel, we're gonna watch them, right? If it was like something like Under the Banner of Heaven and we tried it out, it's on Hulu. It was great. The finale, underwhelming, but pretty good. Um, the If we watch the first couple episodes and like to your point where you're 0 and 2, like we could dip out of that show. And then if somebody was to bring up, hey, did you catch Under the Banner of Heaven? Wes, you and I could have been like, yeah, we tried it. Wasn't too good. If
yeah.
enough people say, hey, keep watching, then maybe we'd give it a shot. But if it's a Prime, I'm not talking about What If. I'm not talking about if it's Star Wars Visions. I'm not talking about if it's DC's freaking Gotham Knights, which is stupid. We're not gonna watch that. But if it's a Black Adam, um, or whatever else DC's got coming out,
Titans, bro. You need to catch up on some Titans.
see, I tapped out of Titans season 1.
You also tapped out of Stranger Things, which is amazing.
It wasn't that I tapped out. I'm just so sick and tired of them dropping all at once. Anyway, Wes, any more thoughts to close in? Oh, I do want to ask one more question. So what are you most excited for going into, and what does this show need to do for you in episode 3 to be like, okay, I'm hooked? Like, are there anything that you can elaborate more on that?
Can it not be a teen show?
Oh my God.
No, I'm just joking. um, no. So like I like this one more than I did the first episode. So, I'm gonna watch the next episode and hope that it just continues to reel me in. Because right now I'm like a big fish and I'm fighting hard. You know what I mean? So, you gotta reel down and reel me up. You know what I mean? So I'm just hoping that the next episode delves more into the story, a little bit more action,
Right.
you know. But I mean, like I said, like I liked this one more than I did the last one, so I'm hoping that it just continues to grow
That
on me. Do you know what I
trajectory.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if
At
it
least be
doesn't,
better than episode 2. Right.
yeah, just has to
Yeah.
be better
Just
than
be
episode
better.
2, man.
I see
You
that.
know what I mean?
I
You
feel
know what I
that.
mean?
Yeah.
Because if it gets better, then yeah, by the end of this whole thing, I may be like, you know what? I really didn't like, the first couple of episodes, but man, it got me. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like it could happen. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So, that's the biggest takeaway that I can get is like I hope that they, um, just continue to kind of get better and better. I mean, it did get better on this episode, like I said,
Right.
but
And I think
um,
once we get delved into the story a little bit, I think delved, is that a word? I think when we
mm,
delve more into the story, I think it'll end up a lot better. I do predict that episode 3 is going to be quite good. Look, we need to stop going into things. I'm not saying, I mean, everyone does this. You do it, I do it, you watch and you do it. I'm so sick and tired of fans going into. I'm a little salty because I don't feel good. my throat's killing me. I'm so sick and tired of people going into something and be like, "This better be the best thing I've ever seen," and it's like, dude, like that's like I don't understand
but I
that
didn't go
mindset.
into it that way.
No, I'm just saying. But I'm seeing
Oh, I
people
know in
like,
general.
yeah,
I get
I'm
it.
in
We've
general.
talked about this
We
before.
did. I've seen on
Yeah.
Twitter like Miss Marvel better be the greatest thing on earth, and you go in and you watch it, but like when I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the video where I was like, look, a lot of people were saying, hey, this is the greatest thing, MCU Disney Plus show has ever done, yada, yada, yada. And that got me excited. Well, that excitement was my fault. That wasn't the critics that watched its fault. It wasn't their fault that their opinion got me super excited. We got to leave those expectations at the door and just accept what it is that they're trying to tell, what story there is they're trying to tell us.
Well, and
But I mean,
let me interject real quick.
yeah.
So, you talk about going into something hoping that it's the best thing out there. That is a downfall, like we
It
said,
is.
to a lot of fans because they go into things and their expectations are so
So
high.
high.
It's just like in life. If your expectations are higher than what you can accomplish,
You're going
then you're
be
never going to
miserable.
reach it. I was like, you need to go in with an even keel, thinking, I just want to enjoy this movie.
Right.
Do you get what I mean? Like, all these people that went to go see Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and they wanted,
57
20 different cameos.
Yeah.
Like, they're just not going to do it.
Just accept it for what
I
it
was
is. Yeah.
excited for what I got. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Oh, yeah.
And I walked out. I had an amazing time. The movie was great.
Anson
And I
Mount was
was
back
like,
as Black Bolt. It's like, what?
yeah,
After
and
the
just like,
Inhumans debacle, and to see him back, a character from Inhumans that everyone hated,
yeah.
and to see him back, I was like, oh, wow. but
that's
no,
okay.
you're right.
But
You're right.
like,
Yeah.
like not talking about Multiverse of Madness, talking about
Right.
expectations
Everything
and
as a
stuff.
whole. Yeah.
I went into the show like not with any expectations.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But not knowing really what they were trying to do. You know what I mean?
And I wasn't either. Yeah.
So whenever I got there and I was like, oh no,
Right.
this is a teen show. You know what I mean? I don't watch a lot of it, and that's just me.
Yeah.
But basically
they're expanding their horizons, and they're
but they have to. I get it. I get why they're doing it.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's not, I'm not mad at them for it.
Right.
It's just,
It just simply didn't work for you. And that's fine.
Right,
There's
man.
nothing wrong with that. And if someone does have a problem with it, then don't watch
They
our
can
show.
hit me up on Twitter at
Yeah.
West Rathbone 86.
I was just about to say, where can people find you, my friend?
At West Rathbone 86. Feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think about Miss Marvel. If you liked it, didn't like it, either way, it's not going to hurt my feelings at all. So I'm just glad that you guys are watching, that you guys are with us. So Gabe, let them know where they can find you, my friend.
All right. You can find me simply at Voice of Film on TikTok and Twitter. Go ahead and search for me there. It should be the first thing that pops up. Again, got daily content over there for you guys on TikTok. So, but yeah, you know, Miss Marvel, we're enjoying, at least me, I'm liking it a lot. I'm really enjoying it. Here's,
Hopefully
we are a team. I
we
look,
are
I'm liking this a lot, and I can't wait to see it. But anyway, give us a follow. Thank you for the past couple subscribers that have followed our channel. We appreciate that. Who have watched our videos. We thank you and hope you continue watching. And we're going to keep doing this. Be sure to look out for our Obi-Wan episode 5 spoiler discussion coming out here. You could find in the description below. Go ahead and look on our channel for that. And then this Friday we got The Boys episode 5. Yeah, episode 5 coming out.
son.
Where I'm hearing it's a musical, so get ready. So can't wait to see that. But anyway, drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to drop a like, follow, subscribe, comment, share, do all that kind of stuff. And we have been the usual skeptics, and we will see y'all next time.
Later.